Today, we're going to be going over the best coaching adjustments for college football 25. I have pretty much played this game for the most part since it came out. I've played a lot of head-to-head. I've played plenty of Dynasty, so I could definitely say these coaching adjustments I'm going to give you for offense and defense, they're going to work great in online head-to-head, and they're going to work great in online or offline Dynasty. Now, if you don't know what coaching adjustments are, right before you pick your play, if you click the right stick, it brings up this menu that shows a bunch of different settings that you can use for offense and defense that will help you throughout the game. We're going to start off with the defense ones first, just because there's a lot more to talk about on defense than offense. Offense, there's only like a couple. Defense, there's a lot. The first setting we got is auto flip defense play call. You can turn this on or off. I leave it on because what this basically does is, let's say you come out on defense, the offense comes out, they come out in bunch. Let's say they flipped a bunch. Your defense will flip with them. Now, sometimes it can get a little messed up, but if that does tend to happen, you can still manually flip your play as well. But I like to keep this on just because there's a lot of adjustments I'm usually making and stuff. So it makes my life a little bit easier. If you're finding out that when the offense flips, your defense is not really flipping and it's just not working, then you know what, just turn it off and manually do it yourself. Cornerback matchup, I leave this on balanced. This has been a setting that's been around for a very long time. You can do it by overall, you can do it by speed, height, route running, depth chart, all that stuff. I leave it by balance because in the past, what has happened, this is, kind of comparing it to Madden, because a lot of aspects of Madden are in this game. In, let's say, man coverage, for example, let's say you're in man coverage and you got it on by like speed or depth chart or something like that. Let's say there's some type of motion and you're in man coverage. A lot of times what used to happen is the game would just completely break out. Guys start getting mismatched, manned up on different people, and honestly, it would even happen in zone as well. Just stay away from it. Leave it on balance. The best way, if you want your corners set up in the right position, go to your depth chart or whatever lineup screen you have and just put your corners manually where you want everybody on the field. If you want a guy on the right side, then you'd put him in corner 1. If you want a guy on the left side, then you'd put him at corner 2. Or no, corner 2 goes on the right and then corner 1 goes on the left. Yeah. No, I got that wrong. It's corner 2 on the left, corner 1 on the right. I'm pretty sure. I think I got that right. And then corner 3 obviously has to be your slot corner. Yeah, you get the point. You just put manually where you want everybody. For defensive motion response, it's automatically going to have this on default. You can either have it on default or disable it. Now, there's a time and a place for this. For the most part, I do keep this on default. The only time I've ever had a problem with it on default is somebody came out in this trips formation. I was in a cover 0 man play, and it was like a little weird play with the running back kind of motioned out. He was on the left. He motioned out to the left a little bit. And then all of a sudden, my safety that was one-on-one man up with the slot was now man up on the running back, gave one play touchdown. So in that situation, I had to disable it. But for the most part, you're going to want to keep this on default. What this even does is, if there's a motion on the play, a guy's made up on him, he's supposed to go follow him. But in some plays, it's a little broken. So like if guys are like split close and stuff like that, with the 2 running backs in the backfield, you're going to want to keep this on default. The only time I would disable it is if the situation I just explained to you, where if you're playing some type of man coverage and they're doing that weird, now it has to be a motion where it's built into the play. That's where it's really going to mess it up. If that happens, then and you're like, okay, my man's getting all messed up because of this, then you would want to disable it. Our next setting is going to be option defense read key. This setting is for when the offense is running just read options with the quarterback. You're going to want to put this on conservative every single game when you start the game. You don't even want to have to worry about, oh, he hit me with the read option, he's got a 40-yard play because I wasn't ready for it. Just don't even put yourself in a situation. As soon as the game starts, put that on conservative. If you put it on aggressive, they're not even going to worry about the quarterback. So I guess there is situations where this wouldn't be bad. Let's say they're coming out in single back and I form and stuff like that. It will have all your DNs just go right in there and try to make the play. But I keep this on conservative for pretty much the whole game. For the option defense pitch key, this is something you're also going to want to put on conservative. This is basically for speed options. When you put it on conservative, the defense will focus on the quarterback on the speed option. When I say your defense, the D end, whoever that edge guy is that's supposed to be, contained, he'll sit there and play the quarterback. So then with your user, you can go ahead and scrape over there and get right to the running back and go ahead and play that. I've had a lot of success doing it like this. Now, granted, speed options aren't as good as they used to be when the game first came out. They did that first patch, really patched them pretty hard, but they are still pretty good. But putting those on conservative, in my opinion, is the best. If you put it on aggressive, they're going to focus more on the running back on it, and I found that that doesn't really work too well, so I just put it on conservative. For strip ball, I leave this on balanced. It'll just I would just leave it on bounce. I don't see a need in changing it. I'd never put it on conservative. You should probably never do that. And the only time I would honestly recommend putting it on aggressive is if it's late in the fourth quarter and your defense is on the field and you really have to get off the field. Maybe you don't have many timeouts and he's running the ball and you got to somehow find a way to come up with a turnover. That's probably the only way I'd put that on. Besides that, though, just leave it on bounce. Because if you also take it off bounce, and let's say you do put it on aggressive, it's also going to lead to a lot more broken tackles by the offense. So you're going to, every running back's going to look like goddamn prime Marshawn Lynch. Tackling, I also leave this on bounce as well. This is another one I would never recommend putting on conservative. And then same thing kind of a strip ball. If you're going to put it on aggressive, put it in, that late situation where you must have a turnover. This is going to lead to just a lot more hit stick tackles, but same thing with strip ball. If you put it on aggressive, there's a chance there's going to be a lot of broken tackles out there. Now on to one of the biggest ones, zone drops. I know a lot of guys, they always ask me what my zone drops are and stuff. Now, I will say this, I don't play zone as much as I used to. I've always been like I mainly run zone. That's what it's always been. But nowadays, I've been 50-50 like man and zone. It really depends what the offense comes out. And like if I'm seeing a lot of empty, if I'm seeing a lot of spread, I'm coming out and cover zero man blitz. Now I do run 3-4. So, if you come out in some of these spread out formations, you're not blocking what I'm sending. But, if I'm going against like trips tight end, if I'm going against bunch tight end, stuff like that, that is a lot of times when I do run zone. All right, let me go ahead and give you guys my zone drops though. So for my flash, these are the cloud flash. These are the light blue zone, usually on the outside corner. But I mean, you can technically put your linebacker or safety on all those things. But for the cloud flash for these, I do like to start with 20 yards. And I say start with because throughout the game, these could be adjusted. Let's say we get a big sack, got a guy backed up to 3rd and 30. Then, in that situation, I'll drop these to, 30 yards. Let's say we're in the red zone, 2nd and goal at the 5. Then I would drop my cloud flash down to 5 yards. But on average, for the most part in the game, I'm leaving these on about 20 yards. That's a pretty good depth to play most routes. Because let's say, something gets caught underneath, they're going to be able to break down there and make a tackle. They could play a lot of average corner routes that aren't stemmed right over top them. Just like built-in play corner routes at 20. Now for my curl flats, these are the purple zones. I like to put these on 5 yards for the most part. The only time I ever adjust these is if I'm putting them on 0. I think 5 is pretty good. I would only say put them on 0 if you really want them to just get down to that flat and just play the sideline. If that's really what you want, then put them on 0. But 5 yards is pretty good. For my hook curls, I like to put these on 5 yards, and these I usually never drop them any lower than 5. Only thing I'll do with these is raise these, and the only time I'd raise them is so we back the offense up, got them on a 2nd and 20, 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15. Then I would have them play whatever yardage the sticks are, kind of similar to the cloud flat in a way. So for the most part though, these are on 5. So these are kind of how my zone drops look, 25-5. Now we'll go ahead and talk about the offensive coaching adjustments. As you can see, there's not as many, and really a lot of these you're not even really going to change. So tempo adjustment, you'll see you can do no huddle, turbo, chew clock. For this one, this is actually definitely one I fluctuate throughout the game, but we don't use no huddle and I don't use turbo. The reason why is because if you want to use them, you can just use them after the play. I think if you want to go no huddle, you would hold Y. If you want to go turbo, you just hold X. I would definitely recommend do not put turbo on the tempo adjustments because you can't turn it off. Like you'll literally have to burn a timeout, or if it's some type of change of possession, that's the only way you can turn it off. So I would definitely recommend not turning turbo off, and it's actually kind of the same with no huddle. Do not put them on, just don't. You can manually do it after the play if you want to use it. Chew clock, I definitely use chew clock thoroughly throughout a game. If I'm up a little bit late in the game, we're putting chew clock, we're going to maintain the clock and win the game. But by default, obviously I'm staying in normal. So these next couple settings, you don't even want to touch these. Deep pass catching, intermediate pass catching, and blocking, do not even touch these. What the catching ones will do is if you change them to like conservative or aggressive, it's only going to let you have a certain type of how if you exit rag catches, Y aggressive catches, A catches, conservative catch. So what these will do is whatever you pick for conservative or aggressive, it will only let you get that type of catch. Do not touch those. Leave those on bounce. Blocking, you don't want to touch that either. If you put it on aggressive blocking, will it give you better blocking? Yeah, a little bit. but it will also give you holding calls, and it will give you holding calls. Do not put that back. You guys know holding calls are drive killers, and don't put it on conservative, because if you put it on conservative, it's just going to give you worse blocking. Just leave all that on balance. For ball carrier though, there's a time and a place when to change this. Obviously throughout the whole game I'm staying on balance, but if it's late in the game, we get into the fourth quarter, I'm just trying to, you know, hold on to the ball, get out of here, put it on conservative if you don't want to have to worry about fumbling, because on conservative you can't do any ball carrier moves. But you know, obviously, you know, which is, you know, cool, because in past games it wouldn't let you do any ball carrier moves, but you couldn't also go down. Now with conservative, you can actually go down, like, you know, like hit X, go just get on the ground. So that's a pretty good thing. So technically, I guess you can, that is a ball carrier move in a way, but yeah, it'll lead to you basically not being able to fumble, which, no, there's still a chance you can fumble, but and then as for aggressive, it'll lead to where you just like fall forward and stuff like that, and just like your running back runs a lot harder, break tackles and all that stuff, but there's a higher chance for you to fumble. So I guess like the only time I would ever say to go put it on aggressive, you're on the 1 yard line for the bread, you got to score. Let's say you're doing a run play. That'd probably be the only time I would say to put that on. But that right there is the best coaching adjustments in college football 25, in my opinion. If you guys have any questions about these, you can comment them down below. If you want to see me play the game live and have more questions, you can tap with the Twitch link that's down in the description. I try to stream college football 25 as much as I can over there. If you're not subbed to the channel already, I'd recommend subbing to the channel. We got lots of more college football 25 content on the way, especially if you're a fan of Ultimate Team. I upload a lot of Ultimate Team videos there. I try to do Dynasty, I really do, but I don't know, I'm not the best, I feel like, at making videos of those. It's something I'd like to do. I just don't feel like I'm as skillful as I am with making my Ultimate Team videos. So like I said, if you're not subbed, definitely sub to the channel. If you enjoyed the video, man, drop a like. Until next time, man, I'll see y'all in the next one.